Hey Mom, today's visit to Ban Kang Wat helped clarify how community design can support a global citizen's life during periods of transition, movement, and identity shift. Ban Kang Wat is a small, intentionally designed creative village in Chiang Mai made up of independent studios, shops, and a shared communal space. Built around a central gathering area and anchored by local handmade and values-driven businesses, Ban Kang Wat operates less like a marketplace and more like a living neighborhood. As I approach the end of my teaching role and prepare to operate more freely across locations and projects, the experience reframed community not as something that requires permanence, but as something that can be designed to support flexibility. The main focus of this reflection is how thoughtfully designed spaces can allow people to belong, contribute, and move on without friction while still offering depth, structure, and continuity. The physical layout of the neighborhood immediately communicates this philosophy. A shared communal area sits at the center, with independent houses arranged around it, creating a balance between connection and autonomy. This design quietly shapes behavior. It encourages interaction without forcing it and allows people to participate at their own rhythm. From the perspective of a global citizen, this matters deeply. When mobility is part of your lifestyle, overly tight or insular communities can feel restrictive, while purely transactional spaces feel empty. Ban Kang Wat sits in between. It shows how space alone can make belonging accessible, even for those who may only be present for a season. That same design logic extends into how the businesses operate. Each shop is distinct, with its own identity and craft, yet none exist in isolation. Together, they form a small interdependent ecosystem built on shared values rather than centralized control. This offered a practical lesson in small-scale models for independent living. Instead of imagining freedom as total self-sufficiency, Ban Kang Wat demonstrates how independence can coexist with interdependence. For someone preparing to leave a structured profession, this model feels more realistic than chasing a singular all-encompassing plan. It suggests assembling a life through multiple aligned efforts that support one another over time. What stood out most is how portable this way of thinking is. Ban Kang Wat doesn't work because it's rare or tied to a specific cultural moment. It works because its principles are human scale and repeatable. Shared spaces, local production, clear values, and mutual support can exist anywhere. For a global citizen, this reframes how places are evaluated. Instead of asking whether a city offers long-term stability, the better question becomes whether it contains environments that support temporary depth. The goal isn't to replicate this village elsewhere, but to develop the skill of identifying and integrating into similar ecosystems across different locations. The experience also reshaped how I think about identity beyond job titles. In Ban Kang Wat, people are known by what they create and how they contribute, not by credentials or formal roles. There's no visible hierarchy and no pressure to explain yourself through institutional labels. As I move toward a life less defined by a single profession, this felt instructive. When spaces are built to value contribution over status, they allow identities to remain fluid without becoming unstable. As I prepare for what comes after this chapter, this experience offered a clear reminder. The quality of a global life isn't defined by constant movement, but by the kinds of communities you choose to move through. I ate dinner at the market and that was it for my day. Okay, love you. Bye.